Hey guys, welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture, I will show you how good PR could help you with Fiverr gigs and how they could bring you a lot of traffic. Also mentioning of you in different articles in the books could really help you. And I'll show you from my example. Alright, so there is a lot of ways of how you can get that PR and articles, books as well, mentioning about your services. So from my cases, I have several of them. So one of the book authors approached and asked me if I want to be mentioned in his book. And he will include my interview, he will include as well information about my services, and he actually used one of my services. So it's not just like he approached me and say, okay, I will publish in the books. So he actually used my service so he could say the experience about it. And this is very interesting because this will bring you a lot of long-term clients. Because right now this book is published, is one of the best sellers. I will show you exactly what he wrote and how it's presented there. But the book called Instagram Power, and you can get it on Amazon, and he wrote the second version of it. So now people are buying this book, and every single week I'm getting at least 6 to 10 messages of people saying, okay, I saw you from the book, thank you for your story, I'm interested in your services. So this creates a real long-term relationship and flow of clients for you. So let's take a look at the actual book mentioning. So here's the book, and you can see it's on Amazon, and this is what the person wrote about me. So he mentioned Fiverr, he mentioned me there, he mentioned my Instagram, the screenshot as well, and then it follows with the interview. It's interesting because this interview was taken in 2018 and the book came out I think in April 2019, right? So it's been almost a year, and of course some of the things kind of changed, but it's still very valuable. So that's why it's very important. If you're gonna be interviewed somewhere and they're gonna mention your Instagram or they're gonna mention your website there, so keep in mind that if you're gonna change your username on Instagram or a website later on, the book and the information in the book will be whatever you have written before. So for me, I have my Instagram Vasily17, I have a Fiverr as well, Vasily17. So I made it that way for people to find it much easier. And it's actually working really well because you can see here, it's on Instagram, it's on my Fiverr as well, and this is my story as well here. So this is very, very important. So you don't change it to the different usernames or different websites, because once the book is published, that's where people are going to get, seen by you and where they will get all this information. The other thing I want to mention as well is I was mentioned in one of the articles in NASDAQ, and this article basically has, I think it's like 20 people. So yeah, it takes 20 people and is it 20? Let's say 17 people. 17 people, and they write about each of those people and include some of the information. So for example, from me, what they have wrote is my journey on Fiverr and also my story, how I went to US, how I was able to become a top-rated seller on Fiverr, and what kind of clients I work with, and also the link to my website. So it links to my actual website, but from there people can go and just contact me and they can find my service as well. So this is very important too, right? So because you will get that SEO to your Fiverr. So of course I have included my Vnog Media website, but if you're gonna mention your gigs, that will be very powerful because people are gonna find you, from those articles and then contact you for services. So this is important because all these articles, books as well, they will be indexed like in Google, and in the long term, when people are going to be searching this for more, they'll of course find you. So it has it's not like you run Facebook ad and then you have the results, Facebook ad has finished, and then you have no traffic. This is different. Creates like a long-term growth and long-term as well scale for you. So very important, once again, all the books mentioning. So what I suggest you to do is to actually go ahead and research other books in the niche, authors, and start messaging them. Because what I think, if I could do that much more, if I could really take that approach, obviously you have seen this story has published. So those authors, they're looking for those kind of people who they can feature. So if you're gonna start writing to them, if you're gonna start offering, you know, different stories and what you can be featured about, this will be very powerful, and this will create a long-term growth and long-term clients as well. So to sum up this lecture, keep in mind that those publications are going to have a really good effect in the long term. And you can see, like this author, Jason, he contacted me on Fiverr. So he used my service on Fiverr. So a lot of people, a lot of like really influential people are using Fiverr, and eventually at one point they could end up using your service. So you never know. That's why you have to have all these things properly in place. You have to really take it seriously, 100%. And you can start as well approaching those authors. You can start creating the stories. You can start approaching those stories. The same with, for example, conferences. When I apply for conferences, I do approach those people, those organizers, and then they get back to me and say, okay, we like your story, we want to feature it. The same with the book authors. You have to approach them. You have to research different books, because let's say this Instagram Power book, right? In 2 years, there's going to be another version of this Instagram Power, right? Because this is the second version. There was a first version, because the information keeps updating. So keep in mind about that. Don't be afraid to write to people. Don't be afraid to, you know, propose your story. But of course, if you're doing good, if you're building your reputation, eventually people are going to find you and you'll be featured in those publications. Thank you guys so much for watching this lecture. Make sure you're active in the group, asking questions, answering questions, and I'll see you in the next lecture.